up. Hey, this is Rich. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. I use the he, him pronouns. And this is Star Wars Saturdays, which is the thing I've been running for over 3 years now, officially over 3 years as of this week. Last week was this amazing gauntlet community celebration of that, where we had all kinds of folks running Star Wars Saturdays and Sundays, and it was great. And it's so fun to be back in the saddle again. We are playing a game called Offworlders. Offworlders is a World of Dungeons hack that came out a couple of years ago, and this has been my first opportunity to get it to the table, so I'm quite excited to play it. It is from Chris P. Wolf, and you can grab it on Drive-Thru RPG. It's like a 30-page book, which is definitely builds out from the very like 1 page of World of Dungeons, 2-page World of Dungeons, which is great. It's a Power by the Apocalypse game, but very scaled down. There are 4 classes and some abilities and cool stuff. I like it. I think it's going to serve our needs. And we are to the point where everyone has made characters, selected the 2 upgrades you get for your ship. So they have a cool ship, which we haven't named yet. And so let's go around the horn and introduce our characters. I'm going to start from the far right on the character keeper, which means that Will, you get to go first. Introduce your character to us.
Hi, I am playing Lakim Naradral, I think generally known as Lack for short. And he is a male Arcanian. He is an offshoot Arcanian with a little cybernetic 5th fingers. And other cybernetic augmentations within, as is the Arcanians want. And he's an outlaw. You know, he shoots first, he hides things, he smuggles stuff, and he's signed up with this crew because they can make some money. Perhaps on the core worlds, he needs that money. Here on the Outer Rim is the place that he's going to make it.
Nice. Okay, so he needs some money on the core worlds. Is this a thing where he's running from debt, or there's a thing he wants to be able to afford? What is it?
I mean, the thing he wants to be able to afford is his life. So yes, it's certainly the way that he would phrase it, but it's definitely running from something.
Okay. Is this he has a bounty on his head, or he just has some debt runners coming after him from time to time?
Oh, he when he last left, there wasn't a bounty on his head, but the Fuqpa Syndicate on Coruscant 1313 definitely made it clear to him that he better not show his face around there again till he's got the money. That was a couple of years ago now. He's been a lot longer in paying that back than he was meant to be.
Okay, that's pretty great. That is really, really cool. All right, we'll go around the horns just for introductions, and then we're going to work out some links between you guys. But if you think about them as things are being talked about, feel free to throw it out. Steven, you're up next. Tell us about your character.
Hi, my name's Steven. I use the pronouns he, him. Today I'm playing Jay Go. Jay, he goes by Jay for short, uses the pronouns he, him. And Jay is a veteran of the war and is trying to eke out a living now that things are things have pretty much stabilized, sort of, but he ended up on the bottom part of things and, you know, needs to figure out a way to scratch out a living and figure out where he is in this world.
Yeah, but he ended up with a ship, right?
I don't think the ship is his.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it borrowed? Is it stolen? Or is it a thing where he owes somebody big time for it?
I think we're on like a lease to own. And I want to say whoever is a part of the crew has to cough up. Ooh. I think we used to have a 4th member of the crew.
Ooh, I like that. Do you want to glance over the NPCs and places and see if there are any pictures we want to reuse there?
I will do so. That sounds great.
Did this crew member die on a heist? Did we abandon them?
I like the idea. So it's up to you guys. I like the idea maybe that a bounty hunter grabbed this guy. How about that?
Dang.
I like that. Yeah.
So they're not dead. They could come back, but bad stuff happened.
Yeah,
That
and when
is-
Lack was just like, oh, thank God, I thought that was for me.
Oh, Lack, you're such a scoundrel. Sweet. And if none of those appeal, because they are like Twilix and other stuff. I mean, maybe your token human is the one who was caught by a bounty hunter. It tickles me. All right, I like that. Do you want to have a name for them, though? We can figure out what they look like and all that good stuff as we go. So, Philip, why don't you grab us a name for this fourth crew member who was caught by a bounty hunter recently?
Ronick Stim.
Cool. Can you drop that in chat? So I'll just copy that out and I'll drop it into our NPCs and places. I just don't want to misspell it. Because spelling's so important in.
It's spelled like it sounds.
It is. That's true. That is exactly how I would not have spelled it so perfectly. I would have put like extra N's and a C instead of a K. I'd do that weird shit.
And
All
if you want a picture, how about the Duros that's on E23?
Oh yeah, he looks cool. Everybody likes him. You did not want the token human, so there we go. Good stuff. So former crew member who was recently captured by a bounty hunter.
So now instead of paying a fourth of our debt, we now all owe a third of our debt unless we get this guy back.
Yeah, the rent just went up.
Sweet.
Either
Thank
got-
you for that.
Or
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be asking these questions in a second. So let's continue on with Jaco. So Jay fought in the war. He's currently leasing this ship to own it, which means you guys have to pay a certain amount of the fees you get for your jobs. Let's see. Oh yeah, you're real good at doing stuff. Look at you. You're tough. Okay. Sweet. Anything else, Stephen, about Jaco?
I think Jaco actually wears this cape, but it's this tattered, like threadbare kind of thing. It's not a long thing. It's like, one of the short ones, but it's all ripped all to shreds, but he wears it all the time. Even like in his flight suit. He's got this little 1.5 2 foot ratty cape thing.
Does he talk about the cape?
No,
Okay.
I think it's just like, an affectation that everyone's like, okay, Jay's just weird. He wears a cape.
Capes are a thing in Star Wars. They definitely indicate something. I love that.
Lack compliments Jay on that cape every opportunity, even though he thinks it looks like crap.
And has Jay ever worn a different cape, or is it always that cape?
It's always that short ratty cape. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That's good.
Increasing number of blaster holes in it as time goes on.
Yep. All right. Philip, tell us about your character. Introduce yourself.
I'm Philip. I go by Snarkade on Twitter. I use he/him pronouns, and I'm playing Yerzist. He is a Quarren, and he also uses he/him pronouns. Yerzist was he did everything right. He did what his parents told him to do. He went to classes. He studied. And then it turns out that with the Galactic Civil War and everything, there are really no jobs, or at least no good jobs. And he became a little bit bitter. So it turns out that he took his skills and he's decided that, if the rules don't apply the way that they were supposed to, then he's going to go out and take what he wants. And that's how he kind of joined the slightly the grayer side of things. He tends not to be a shoot you in the face with a blaster type. He tends to be a little bit MacGyvery. He's got a background in technology and science. He's a slicer. He's a drone pilot. He's got 2IJ, which is his tiny little at someplace temperamental robot drone that he built. So in some ways, it's his younger annoying brother. He's the weapon he carries around is an energy slingshot, and he's got his tradition. It looks like a cable knit sweater, but his culture calls it a frick knit sweater. And basically, it's a lot heavier armor than it would appear.
Oh, nice. I love that. We definitely have the knit sweater canon recently.
Oh yeah,
from the Aqualish and Mandalorian. So that is spectacular. I love it. So let's ask Yerzizd, what's one of the jobs that Ronick did for the crew that you were more than happy to let him take care of? And now you've got to do it.
One of the things that he did was he negotiated, and I'm not really a haggler type. If it says 6 credits, I want to pay 6 credits. He was the type of person that would go out and understand the bartering culture that is the galaxy as a whole. Now we're all sort of having to negotiate, but we all have a tendency to take the first offer. Just culturally, that's kind of how we roll. So we're not necessarily the most bartering cultures in the galaxy. So that's definitely one of the drawbacks that we have since Ronick is gone.
Cool. So do you prefer Lackham or Lack? What do you prefer, Will, for the character? What does he go by?
Lack. I think Lack is the yeah.
Lack, what's the spot in the ship that whenever you pass it by, it reminds you of Ronick Stim?
It's a sabacc table. Me and Ronick used to play a lot of sabacc. Never quite worked out who was on top.
Oh, it's just you just played and kind of bet, but it was funny money thing, or was it just a constant source of friendly argument?
Constant source of friendly. I think we were both utterly convinced that we were ahead, but the actual numbers probably were about even, really. But I'm like, owe me 5 creds, every time I see it. I'll never see that now.
Nice. You guys have a cool sabacc table. That is the sabacc table something, Jay, that came with the ship, or that you guys, or maybe Ronick and Lack, put in the ship?
I think it didn't come in the ship. We added it, but we added it we had this one what do you call that? Baby keeping mission where someone was traveling with us, and it was one of their requirements. So we took our cargo hold and we made it kind of fancy and, put in a nice bed and separated it out with fake walls and all of that. But one of the requirements was the sabacc table.
So you had a babysitting
Yeah.
job with somebody who considered themselves a high roller or something. That's great. I like that.
A rider.
A what?
A rider, like music acts do, where they have, I want set,
oh yeah,
a cold cut tray.
We had the crystal holocrons with us, and they were like holocrons with us. And they were like, yeah, we've got to have that.
The walls have to be painted green, that sort of thing.
That's great. I love that. And then Jay, what is a keepsake or memento or item of Ronick Stims that was left behind that you're maybe holding for him, or just it reminds you of him?
So I think Ronick always had kind of a choker on, and it has a couple of beads, and that I've draped over, part of the console, sort of like where Han Solo has his dice. I've draped that across there, waiting to, when we run back across Ronick, we'll just give it back to him.
Nice. That's really cool. How long, Jay, who has been on your crew longer? Has it been Lack or your Zist?
I think it's been Zist. And Zist has been really good. His incentive to get money has been consistent, which is really nice. So I think Zist has always been upfront with payment, and we've been able to make it pretty well. It's a little bit harder now, but yeah.
Nice. Zist, you said that you were a student, right? That you were a good, studious person, a good boy, expected all the things to come through if you worked hard. What was your favorite as a geek? What was your favorite topic?
Practical engineering.
Ooh, yes, you're right where you want to be. Sweet. Like, when you left 1313, who did you leave behind that you miss the most?
Who did I leave behind that I miss the most? I left behind my good friend, runs a small nightclub on 1313. Let me just look at my Hook Cartel character keeper. Steven's, was it Steven's character? No, it was, I can't remember whose character it was. It was, sorry, I'm struggling to find it.
Okay.
I will get it in a second if you want to go.
I'll jump away from you. So we know that you left behind a club owner in 13.
Yeah, he's the Halcone basically. He's involved in the syndicate. He's a Duros, I think is the name of them.
Oh,
it was Philip's character, of course. No, it wasn't Philip's character. I'm talking about. It was Steven's character. It was Steven's character. It was Jaldar Ko. Sorry, I'm getting my head completely mixed up.
sorry.
Jaldar Ko, the Duros. He was a very finely dressed, smooth talker who ran a small private dance club.
Oh, fun.
And yeah, it was kind of like, like my old partner.
Mhm.
But then I got too in debt and had to leave him behind.
Rough stuff. Sweet. Good. I feel like we've got a real good handle on who you guys are about. So you got a massive cargo hold and advanced electronics on your ship. This is a ship that you've leased. You've added in. You've made some modifications in that massive cargo hold. Maybe getting the massive cargo hold was what enabled you to be able to create those cool accoutrements for the person who put in the special rider about the green walls and the crystal holochromes and the sabak table. We don't have a name for her, so that's something that I think would be cool to have. Ask Jay, what is one mark on the exterior of the ship that came from a very close scrape you guys got into and barely made it out of? What does it look like?
Actually, the underside of the ship has some damage to it. And that comes from a landing that we did. Most of the time you have a real nice soft landing with landing gear and all of that. This was a case where we were running and we landed in not in the normal ship's hangar. So we had to land out in the wild, and we came in hot and it scraped up the bottom. We had to replace the landing gear, but you can still see the scrape marks from the rocks and the other stuff on the bottom of the ship. It's just ugly. It's not defective.
Nice. I like that. Your Zist, what is one upgrade that you're currently working on for the ship that you're most excited about?
It's a milkshake maker.
A blue milkshake maker. Okay.
Well, it's one of those like old school multi-headed like 1950s milkshake maker. So the idea behind it is, it's got. I started working on it, and there were 4 cups to make one each of us as a drink. But when Roddick got picked up, I stopped working on it. I figure I'll finish it when he gets back.
That's great. That's great. Awesome. That's fantastic. Are there you had a crew member, and then we have have you named your droid? What's the name of your droid, your Zist?
Yeah, it is I think
2IJ.
2IJ? Is that what you have in there?
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Yeah, 2IJ.
2IJ, cool. You said it was like the BD droid from.
Yeah, it's kind of a mix of the BD droid, but has kind of like little like Quarian wings. So they, like really fast, like so it flies around, like it hovers.
Oh wow.
So it's like a drone. It's not a very strong droid, but it tends to be small and get in places, fly, not be visible if it's at height, that sort of thing.
I dig it. That's cool. Good. So let's see. I think I've got a handle on the ship as it stands. You guys feel good about the way you guys relate and a little bit of your history?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think so.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take a break and then we'll
Should
come
we
back and we'll
quickly name the ship?
Oh yeah, that's true. And I see some names have been thrown up there by Steven. Any of those appeal?
What's the thing called in the trash compactor? Does anyone know off the top of their head?
The creature that was in the trash compactor?
The creature in the trash compactor.
I'm sure it has a name and an action.
The Dianoga.
The Dianoga. The Bespar Dianoga.
Yeah.
So
The Beskar Dianoga.
Beskar Dianoga. Wow, that is pretty interesting. That is quite a bold claim there. You guys all good with that one?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Oh. May I say, we actually had a different name, but our fourth, and it was kind of a silly name, like the Vermin Calamity or something like that. But whenever we picked up that heavy high roller babysitting job, I think our fourth party member renamed the ship to Beskar Dianoga because it sounded better.
And it's such bad luck to rename a ship that as soon as we landed, he immediately got picked up by the bounty hunter, and we blame it.
Yeah.
So we're going to change it back because that would bring bad luck again.
Oh, that's cool. That is really, really cool. That is amazing, friends. I am super into it. Cool. All right. So you had a crappier name, but you changed it for this cool job that you guys had, and that's awesome. I think what I'll do then is we'll take our break in just a little bit, but I'm going to say that you guys were somewhere in the core worlds, maybe on Kuat, and you have dropped off your charge in Kuat. They had the bounty hunter trouble, and now you have picked up a job here at Kuat. Then that'll be the job we'll go over once we get back from our break. Sounds good. Let's take our break now.
You need to restart the recording? Oh,
thank you. I already have. So again, you guys landed on Kuat maybe a few weeks ago. You dropped off your charge. We're going to go with like an entertainment star. They were there to do a gig. They were some kind of hollow vid singer entertainer. And they were pretty happy with the job you did. You guys were feeling good. And then unfortunately, during your time in the nicer part of Kuat, Ronix Den was pinched. And so it's still fresh. And this is your first job. The Yoshigawa Corporation is looking for some troubleshooters for a job in the outer rim. So I guess the first question is, Lack, how did you stumble into this job posting?
I was I stole. Did I steal it? Yeah, you know what? I was just at a bar drinking with the Yoshigawa Corporation exec in there. I took playing Sabak with him, in fact.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So you were speaking with Mr. Sakamori himself.
Mr.
And
Sakamori, yeah.
Mr. Sakamori seemed impressed enough with you to say, hey, I've got this. He actually seemed a little troubled. And at one point during one of the hands, he talked about my poor niece and mentioned that he was worried about her. As the conversation continued, turns out he's actually an executive with the Yoshigawa Corporation and is looking for some troubleshooters. And so we pick up with the three of you at Yoshigawa Corporation's, like, it's not their headquarters, it's their office on Kuwat, which is significant. It's a large high rise in the corporate area of Kuwat. Kuwat is almost known, it's not almost, it is known for its shipbuilding. The Kuwat shipyards are huge. It's an industrial planet, and it is in the core worlds, which means that the Kuwait drive yards help to build originally the Empire. Now they're building the New Republic ships and driving them out. So the large shipyards are well known. They serve the Galactic Republic. Now they serve the Empire. Now they serve the Galactic Republic again. And so you guys are the three of you. We start with the three of you on this lift. It's just kind of going up it's one of those glass lifts that overlooks the beautiful part of Kuwat's corporate sector. And you can see off in the distance, the large, I'm totally biting off of some of the looks from things from Mandalorian, where they have the like converted AT-ATs that are now these crazy cranes that are moving things around. And you see the beautiful neon underneath you. There's definitely a kind of Vegas-y vibe to the entertainment section in the corporate sector. Then as we get just a moment, Jay, how are you dressed for this meeting? Just regular flight suit, cape, or?
So no, I think that with Ronick missing, I know enough, and I guess I kind of hear his voice in the back of my head. I should dress up for this. This is a fancy meeting, with a big client. So I dress appropriately, like in some of my finer clothes, but I'm still wearing that stupid ratty cape, right? Yeah. And it's
nice.
it's kind of out of place. Yeah.
Your Zist, have you altered your normal default appearance in any way?
No, because screw them.
Darn right, screw them. Yeah, and then Lack, how are you dressed for this?
As always, I'm dressed in the finest of clothes. I think Lack dresses, something that he got off his Juro friend back on 1313 was a taste for the finer things. But and you can't, if you're going to win big in Sabak, you got to look like you can win big in Sabak.
Nice. So you do look classy. I mean, if we look at the original picture, do you have that cool kind of over shoulder cape thing going on?
The slight the Lando look.
He is definitely a Lando looking kind of fellow. As an Arcadian, you've got kind of grayish hair and a white skin, almost chalky, which is very interesting. And Jay,
and
the Sullust,
shiny metal fingers as well, which is what
I
understand is the Arcanian offshoots.
I love it. And then we have Jago, our Celestin, and yours is an amazing Quarren. You are all quite a grouping. So the elevator eventually stops. It's not at the penthouse, but it is higher up. There's no real penthouse in a corporate offices anyway. And the doors open up, and you see that it opens up directly to the office of the person you enjoyed playing Sabak with, Mr. Sakamori. Mr. Sakamori is seated behind a desk. You see that there is, like, it's not just one plane of floor. There's actually like a recessed area with what looks like a very nice high-end holo projector model. And there are a few TVs that are just not TVs, but like screens are just kind of rotating around, showing some stock tickers from the Core Worlds exchange. And you see that there off to one side is a long, kind of oblong conference table. And there's also a small like kitchenette. So it is a thing where he could, if he wanted to, entertain guests, also hold meetings, but it's not where he lives. And he sees three of you step inside, and you hear a clunk clunk beside you, and you see that there is a security droid who is here. Your Zist is 2IJ with you?
Yeah, I figure he's always there. He's more like in a kind of in a he's probably riding in a little off the shoulder bag. So he's not necessarily out, but he's there.
Cool. So yeah, when that security droid steps forward, kind of you notice its presence. I think you hear. Sorry, I'm just manipulating 2IJ. I just got to get rid of that. So 2IJ says,
KX series. Be careful.
It's all right. When they're that big, they usually overcompensating for something.
Welcome. Lack, it's good to see you again, Mr. Sakamori says as he stands up behind his desk, and the desk slides into the wall and everything kind of drops down the little computer and everything and slides into the space in the wall, and something comes up and he gets up. Me.
I'd like you to meet my crew. We have our wonderful pilot, Yerzist, and the hero of the rebellion, Jay.
He comes forward. He shakes your hands. So Yerzist, when Mr. Sakamori, who's, very obviously human, corporate exec, nice suit, he comes up offering you a hand to shake. How do you handle that, Yerzist?
I shake his hand. I put my hand on his elbow, and I look around. I go, "This place is nice."
Thank you.
This place is really nice.
Appreciate it.
Classy.
Your assist was top of his class, as I was telling you over Sabak last night.
Pretty much all the classes.
And then he comes over and starts to shake your hand. Hero of the Rebellion, thank you. Thank you for your service. He offers you a hand, Jago.
Oh, and he Jago awkwardly steps in front of everyone and kind of shakes his hand excitedly and like, yes.
Good. And then he last shakes your hand, Jay. Good to see you again. He does a little clasp of the hand. It's friendly. He kind of slides out of that corporate politeness and actually gives you a warm greeting. Like, you guys shared drinks. You played Sabak. There's bonding that happens there. Says, come, please, all three of you, have a seat here at the table. And he gestures to this way too big for just 4 people to sit at a conference table. It's obvious that this is where he has like team meetings, And he walks around a little kitchenette, says, some intoxicants for you, friends?
Curly and brandy, if you have it.
Ah, yes, of course.
No, I'm okay though, but thank you.
And he says, do you want any black ale, Jago?
No, I'm fine.
All right, so he pours some Corellium brandy for Lack, some water for Jago and Yerzist, and he pours some Netragal, or black ale, which is a Mandalorian alcoholic beverage. And he comes around and sets them down in these nice matched, they've got the the Yoshigawa corporate logo at the bottom of the glass. You can see, so as you pull it up, you're showing the Yoshigawa Corporation logo there. He says, thank you all for making some time to come talk to me about a particular problem that our company has. And I have to tell you, like you may remember some of our conversation last night, this is a personal matter for me as well.
Mr. Sakamori, we know, of course, that is why we came. You seemed very concerned about your niece, and We are looking for work. We are professionals, but you know, a man such as yourself, we are always interested in helping out those who we can trust to do business.
Good. Honestly, I'm not terribly used to working with freelancers, so I have used some of the company's more standard procedures to set up the non-disclosure agreement. I hope that is not a problem.
No problem. I will have our lawyer look over it later.
Good, good. Yes, please do. Although I have to tell you, because it is such a long distance away, time is of the essence to make sure that the response is appropriate. I'm sorry, I'm dancing around.
It is fine, Mr. Sakamori. It is personal matter, of course. You must take your time, but I just wanted you to know that the Beska Atoya is the Beska Dianoga is the fastest ship in the galaxy. It did the Kessel run in 5 parsecs.
He pauses for a moment, but he lets that bit of questionable comment, he lets that go and takes a sip of his black ale and says, my niece is a pilot of a ship within the company's delivery service, the Tengu's Prize. All that we know at this time is that the ship is fixed on a planet. The signal has not been disrupted. And so the Class 5 droids that were being carried to one of our newer mining operations on Sabin, that is the part that is most sensitive for the corporation. But I will tell you that the planet where they are, Pontchardan, is dangerous. It is suspected, and I believe that they crash landed on Pontchardan.
Do we know anything of Ponchata?
We do. Pontchardan was... It's a planet rich in calabrium, which calabrium is important for fuel. It's also something that can be refined for a number of industrial uses, oils, the like. Quite expensive to produce and relatively rare. Pontchardan is rich in there are calabrium deposits. Therefore, the Xylan Corporation tried to establish a colony there, but the planet is home to several predators, and also it is a place where the tropical zones and the climate itself makes it difficult to work without rebreathers. So some domes were created by the Xylan Corporation as they established the mining colony. But it was unfortunately abandoned a number of years ago. So those biodomes, Xylan started off, Bactoid Armor Workshop also tried to establish a follow-up, but eventually, after the dome fell, then they abandoned the planet. All the people have been pulled out. That was during the Clone Wars, actually. So it has been abandoned for nearly 30 years at this point.
I see why you're so concerned about your niece and your cargo, of course. Both very valuable things to the corporation.
A good pilot is important, but I'll be honest with you that is more important to me personally than it is to Yoshigawa.
Well, then it is important to me too, my friend.
He nods.
What?
Reaches over, gets a data pad, and kind of slides it around to you guys. So you can see it pretty standard. Like you've seen, this is the kind of thing where Ronick would have come to life and started to manipulate the contract and start to needle for particular parts. You can see that there's a standard non-disclosure agreement. It does list that there are a total of 50 Rim X's, which are a class 5 droid. Similar to the ASP series. Those are labor, class 5 is a labor style droid. They're not known for high intelligence. Like they are often the only thing they can communicates affirmative, negative in galactic basic. So they are pretty low grade, but it seems like the contract is primarily for the return of the employees, but the return of these 50 Rim X's, and then the non-disclosure agreement seems to be rather prevalent. You were going to say something, Lack.
Lack, doesn't pay any attention to any of the fine detail, but just immediately uses this opportunity to brag about how the Dianoga is the perfect ship for it because of the cargo space. Will easily hold 50 of these droids, and we'll be able to return. We will be able to find them with our advanced sensors, no problem, from the orbit. But I suppose the important issue is the matter of pay. Of course, we must be recompensed for our time.
Of course. And then he highlights the area, and of course, it's in the manner of thousands of credits, but this is Offworlders. The credits are scaled down to a much lower number. So if you take a look, actually I moved character creation over and it has the gear. I'm thinking that it's going to be pretty sizable, something on the order of like 100 credits, which split 3 ways is, and you guys making payments means that you would pull away from each of you would be able to get about 15 credits a piece, paying all of your back fee and also covering for one less person. So 15 credits a person is what you make, doing a quick bit of math.
I guess one of the questions that I have is, whenever something like this, who else knows they're there?
The Rim X's are one of our newer developments, and this mining colony on Sabin was also something that we have not disclosed to the public. It is part of a smaller corporation and not officially part of Yoshigawa. To get to the point, no one should know that this ship was traveling through the Outer Rim.
Come on, somebody always knows. People talk. Who else knew?
I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. My
Got some
niece,
questions. I see it on your face.
I
Is
think
something
that
else there?
cool. I think we have reached a point where you may be rubbing up against a move. So let's see how this goes. So I think that what you're doing is using your intelligence, right? As perception, logic, and knowledge. You're kind of using the logic here. Although it could be a will roll because that's force of personality. Which do you think
I think it's
most
definitely
apply?
intelligence.
Okay. All right. So you're going to roll 2d6 and add in your intelligence. You're looking for a 10 or higher.
Right. Oh, that's not good at all.
Yeah. So the good news is that you get an XP for that.
Wow. I'm always looking for that.
Yeah. It's good news. He says, I'm sorry. There are certain aspects of the Yoshigawa Corporation dealings that are not privy to this contract.
All right. I guess we'll talk about the privy later on.
I wish the three of you the best of luck. Are there any amendments you would like to make to the contract?
There is the small matter of your niece, of course. The robots, the cargo will causes no issues, but we have a standard clause as part of our agreement. It's that there is how would you say, if food and board cost
Of
for
course.
all passengers. Only a simple extra 5 credits per day of travel.
Understood. Yes, and he pulls that back, and he kind of quickly pulls in a few elements and like drops that into the contract before you guys sign it.
And Jake kind of elbows Lack and is like, yeah.
Yeah, the 5 credits per day per employee, like he doesn't even fight it. This is not even a die roll because he obviously cares. Like it seems genuine, his concern for his niece.
No, I love it. I also love that. I love the idea that Lack is like, crap, I could have got so much more out of this.
Yes, exactly. It's one of those
Whereas,
like, oh, I should have pushed for 15.
and Jay's just like, such a negotiator, so great.
I barely even miss our old crewmate. Cool. So he slides it back around. Are there any other adjustments needed for the contract?
I think this is all in order, unless Jay here, do you have any amendments you wish to make?
Jay kind of looks up with those big eyes and kind of goes, oh no, and signs the contract.
Nice. You poor guys.
Of course, I will make sure that our lawyer Ronick gets all of this copied and filed away for proper future reference.
Of course. So does your Zist sign?
Yeah, I guess so. You know, these guys haven't steered me wrong yet. So I put my my old signature right there on the paper.
And then what about for Lack? Anything else that Lack does before he signs?
No, he definitely just signs it because he's kicking himself though because he can't think of a better reason, and he's like, Ronick would have found 5 different clauses in this contract that could have got us more money.
Cool. Good. So then he chats with you guys briefly, but it's obvious that like the business is concluded. He doesn't offer you refills kind of thing. So if you hang around for too long, he'll start to suggest you go.
No, we leave to go do business, I think, right, guys? But I would like to say that I steal the glass that he gave me.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, maybe I should make you roll dice, but I don't think even if he noticed it, he'd say anything. So
I think it's more interesting than it's a character thing, isn't it? Rather than a
Yeah.
consequence. Like, oh, you're not getting the job now. Tough. So
yeah,
long for the
exactly. It
session.
totally
Yeah.
wouldn't be that. If you check, there is a tab called Gone Job. So that has a list of the mission details that you guys have just gone under in case you're stuck for it. You're currently going to the Minos cluster. There is a tab to the right there that just gives you just a look at the Minos cluster. The Minos cluster is in the outer rim. It has one of the main trade routes that runs through the spine through Traven, Adelon, Karadef, and Purgator. So you guys can take that, and then you're going to need to plot out a different course to head to if you look in the southeastern section is where Ponchata is. So also the history that I unfortunately botched as I tried to talk it through, but the history of Pontchardan is listed on the Gone Job as well. So it's originally established as a colony that fell apart, and then Bactoid Armor Workshop during the Clone Wars set up biodomes, and that fell apart as well. So
As we're, perhaps like let's plan the thing, but I'm definitely going to suggest that we can maybe find some salvage from the Bactoid Armor Workshop. You know, they build things to last in the Clone Wars. We can make some more creds that way.
I figure if we're there, we might as well fill up the whole cargo bay.
Yes.
Right. And of course, there's nothing in the contract that said that we couldn't. So yeah.
Yes. Of course. Lax has no idea what's in the contract
Yeah,
whatsoever.
I'm not sure that that's the case. I don't know if any of us have really read it. So, but I'm
I've
making
read the whole thing. It's fine.
it's fine. Okay, that was good.
Oh, also among the contract and the information, you received basically the readout of the particular signal that the Tengu's prize is transmitting. It's so you guys can kind of plug that in and easily pick up that signal once you get close enough.
I guess we're gonna go, if we're coming in from the south, right? With Purgator is our first point from the core.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh wow, you keep turning green, Philip. You turned green. I flipped it, and then it turned green again. Sorry. Yelsane is the closest to the core, so Purgator is the furthest from the core. It's actually to the Catholic side.
I hear that there is a small fleet of Old Republic ships in orbit around Travin at the moment. I'm not the Old Republic. I mean, could be something strange going on there. But it's a long way around otherwise. I don't know, Jay. You're the pilot. You tell me, where do you think we should go?
Well, our benefactor did say, our employer did say that time is of the essence. So I would say let's go with the most straightforward route, even if it's more dangerous. So going through Travain is probably okay. We'll figure it out. Besides, we'll save on fuel that way.
Yes.
Cool.
Just follow the outside of the cluster, I guess. Around to Ponchata.
Sounds good. All right. So then this game actually has a pretty cute, well, cute might be a derogatory term. I don't see it as cute as derogatory. But anyway, when time passes, there's like a little bit of a time passes thing. Let me grab it real quick here. It may be in some rules. I hope I saved it.
Oh, we also have fuel, don't we?
During long trips. Yep, you have fuel. You got all that cool stuff. So your ship, creating the ship, and then under some rules. So controlling the ship other than damage, hull, armor. Ship doesn't have attributes of its own. Ship combat, travel. On your ship, you can travel between planets and other locations in the same star system easily. It takes a few hours or days at most. Travel between star systems takes longer, uses drive fuel. When you travel to another system, the GM will tell you how much time and drive fuel it takes. So with that in mind, the trip, if you head to Travin and slide along to Quacra, Reltair, Trantalor, and then Pontchardan, that's going to take just over. Well, here's the thing. If you want to burn up 3 of your fuel, you can cut those. If you see the numbers there, you can cut that in half. Basically, you're throwing it into not just doing sublight. You're basically hopping through hyperspace between Trav and Quacker, Railtear, and Trantalor, and you can get there in a day. If you do it, burn a total of 3 fuel, meaning you will need to do some kind of refueling, or your hyperdrive engines are going to only get you 1 hop, either to Dazak or Trantalor. Or you can play it easy and casual, burn up 2, and then you've got more than enough to get you home.
In hindsight, we should have got the corporate gas card.
Yes, I was just thinking, what was that word that Veronica always used to say? Expenses. Can't wait for him to get back, honestly.
I agree.
Next time he'll figure it out. It'll be fine.
I am sure Black Sun will return him any day.
Do we need to get there fast, or do we need to? I mean, we're going to have to buy more fuel if we get there fast.
I think perhaps we can, Mr. Sakamori, We do this fast and we do this well. Perhaps there'll be more work in the line, yes? So
Oh.
my vote is for fast, and we can try and resupply somewhere along the way.
Well, one option, if their ship really is crashed, we might be able to get some fuel from their ship and transfer it to ours.
Perfect. i.e., yes, let's do that.
Yeah, I got about 3 feet of nose down here that I can just break out just in case we need to do that at any point.
Cool. And I'm imagining this conversation is going on as you guys are like walking onto the
of course, yeah.
onto the
Our
best car
battered
in
landing
Dino.
ramp.
Yeah,
Our
that's
scarred
true.
landing
Like,
ramp comes down.
It pops a couple times as it comes down, and you're walking and you see underneath all the scoring and everything. But the landing gear, those are slick and look brand new. Like, they're just shiny. They're the prettiest part of the whole ship because you had to do full replacement. Sweet. So you guys hop in, start strapping in, and you will be taking off from Kuwait. So it sounds like fast is what you want to do. You guys are going to be burning a lot of fuel. You do a few hyperspace hops. Now, there's that rule that I wanted to quickly go over that I thought was cool. It's down at the very bottom underneath. I don't know why I stuck it underneath end of session, but during long trips, when the characters are on long trip together through space, they tend to learn a lot about each other. Each time the characters travel between star systems or otherwise spend multiple days together in a small space, go around the table and give each player a turn, starting with the character on the left-hand side of the keeper and moving left. On their turn, each player must ask another player a question about their character. It could be about their past or their goals or just something about their personality. If that player answers the question honestly, they earn 1 XP. Take care to ensure that everyone gets a chance to answer a question. The questions do not have to be asked or answered in character, but the player should discuss how their characters learned about each other on the trip. The GM does not get to ask a question, or the GM does not ask a question. So it's just you guys. So we're going to start with Yoshigawa. And you can ask a question of Jaco or Lack.
You're on mute.
Okay, so I'm going to ask Locke. So, so why exactly did you decide that you wanted to get off Coruscant like that? You know, most people that hang around 000, you know, that's kind of where I would like to be. You know, I think that there's stuff there. Here, there's nothing.
Oh, there is so much stuff. There is no city like Coruscant. It is a gleaming pearl within the center of a universe of scum and villainy, and one of the best places of all is level 1313, a wild and exotic place. But sadly, one where I have, I've made a few promises. Things didn't go so well. Some money is owed, and well, the cartel does not like it very much when you do not pay them back on time.
Oh, okay. So money issues. It might be pretty, it might be nice, but there's money issues everywhere.
Oh, and you need money on Coruscant. 000 is a place where you need more than zeros. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you kind of look at it, you always look at pictures and such, and then, but once you get there, you're just like, it stinks just as much as every place else.
He thinks back to 13 and says, perhaps more in some places, but up top, the air is always fresh.
And 1313, is that like down below?
Oh, it is higher than you could imagine, yes. Much higher than you can imagine.
Oh, it's really high or really
Oh,
low?
yes. He's making a mock of Yazitz because he's such a rube that he doesn't know the levels of Coruscant, So I know that goes over Yazitz's heads entirely. But yeah, he's like, it is the highest. It is as high as I think we would ever find ourselves on Coruscant, of course. Higher than you have ever any place you have ever been.
That's impressive. Then I'd like to see that sometime. Maybe we can actually find one of these jobs that'll take us to a civilized planet.
Maybe. As long as it's not Mon Calamar. I hate the smell of rotting seaweed.
Wow.
Sorry, I know, but I just don't like it, you know?
Okay.
Ouch. So, Lack, did you answer that question honestly? I think not the question
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
levels, but the question about why you
Yeah,
want to get
yeah.
back. All right, cool. Mark 1 XP. It is now Jaco's turn.
Yeah. So I think yours it's what broke down on the way here, on our trip that you will have to repair? Is this something, is it the ship itself, or was it 2IJ, or was it like the vehicle that we talked about? What do you think?
Within the ship, there was a problem with the module that allowed oxygen to be created. So it's it's one of the important parts of the ship. It's one of the top 5 most important parts of the ship. It's you got the outside of the ship, that's the most important part of the ship, and then you got the one that makes us able to breathe in the ship. So it's definitely top 5. But it's fixed now. Not exactly sure what caused the problem in the first place, but don't worry, it's likelihood of it coming back is pretty low.
So I think whenever this problem happened, we all had to jump into like those rebreathers that we see in Empire Strikes Back,
Yeah.
right? We got those little masks, and we're all like in the ship trying to repair it and yelling at each other and being like, we've got to get this fixed, or it doesn't matter how fast we get there, we can't bring anybody back. And I think that gets us a little bit more tight, because we know we've got each other's back. We can fix anything.
Oh yeah, we definitely fixed it. And then we kept the masks on, and we had the torches out, and we played like Dark Lord of the Sith for a while. That was kind of fun. I was just messing around. You can't do that for too long. Not more than 5-10 minutes, or else sometimes they come and get you. But it was fun while it lasted.
We actually, the excuse is we had to test out the oxygen content of the air while we still had the masks on with those torches, right?
Oh yeah.
Make sure it wasn't too heavy, make sure it wasn't too low. Yeah.
Yep. But can you imagine actually being a Jedi? I would have cut like 3 limbs off already. I mean, it just that I don't understand. I mean, just like I accidentally looked and shined myself right in the face about 15 seconds after I started playing that game. I would have been the shortest lived Jedi ever.
Well, that's great. It sounds like that was an honest answer from your Zist.
Yep.
All right. You now have 2 XP. You earned another XP there after your failure. Now it is Lack's turn.
Do you believe in the Force, Jago?
Ooh, is this like a quiet moment? Maybe you guys are riding down the Rima trade route. You're about to come into.
I think I'm talking about hokey old religion, and you hear there's that what's he called, Skywalker, hero of the rebellion, blew up the Death Star, fought Emperor Palpatine. It's all propaganda, no such thing. The Jedi don't exist. I mean, you were on the Battle of whatever. You would have served with Skywalker. Yes, it's not true, right?
I don't know what the Force is, but I know that whenever I'm flying, I get in the zone. And if that zone is the Force, then I think that's the Force.
Yes. I guess I know. Yes.
I mean, do you ever get into that, into the zone where you feel like you forget about breathing and you forget about everything else and you're just there?
Yes, the final flop on a sabak deck.
Oh, it's different from everyone, but yeah, that's what I think.
That sounds like an honest answer.
Yeah.
Even if it was, I ultimately, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's cool.
Well, it's the Force to me.
Yeah.
Mark and XP, Jaco. That is awesome. By the way, XP in this to get advancements, which are down on row 34, it is costly. We may adjust that because it's a 2-shot, but right now you're supposed to have 10 XP to get a new class ability or to increase an attribute. And then if you want to increase an attribute to 3, it's 20 XP. Like, holy cats, that's crazy. So you
I'd have
guys,
to mark up a whole lot for us to actually just get any sort of a.
yeah. Well, there are end of session XP questions that can yield you up to 3 XP. So that helps, but man, it's a lot for a 2-shot. So we may tweak that. We may just
Let's see what happens when one of us gets to 5,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So you guys come out of hyperspace in the system, the Ponchata system, and immediately as you dial in, we'll say maybe the 2IJ. I keep wanting to say 1. I apologize. 2IJ brings up the comm signal, and sure enough, you pick up the signal from Tengu's prize right away. It is a locator beacon. It is not a distress call, but it is easy for you to pick it up. And as you guys are headed towards the planet Ponchata, it is. I will head to Ganjab because you see that it is coming from an area known as Outpost 4. So take a look at the Ganjab tab. You'll see that there are a total of 4 biodomes. This was Dome 1, which is the one that fell during the last time that there was an attempt to colonize this place. And your target location is on that small, almost like a sandbar, but it's large enough to be an island. So you do get that notification of where the Tengu's prize has crash landed. As the pilot, I'll just ask you, Jago, what do you do?
So I think I'm going to slide down and do a quick circuit around this outpost 4, just to get a good lay of the land, to see if there's a good place to set down. But I'm gonna, I'm not gonna come down and pick out a place. I'm gonna come down and do a circuit and do a flyby, and see, hey, can I see anything going on? Is anything weird? And after that, do you want me to pick something?
Pick something. What do you mean pick something?
Pick something like where to go or
narrate
where to
you
land.
Get some information. You'll get some information. Why don't you give me, just so we can get some more dice on the board? Let's have you roll. You utilize the system, so I think we'll call it an intelligence roll.
Okay.
So 2d6 plus your 1 intelligence. I
Does
apologize
our advanced electronics come into this?
Yes, it should. That should give you
detailed information about ships, places, and stations we encounter.
Nice. I like that.
I remember they have like life sign detectors in Star Wars, but I imagine them as being very imprecise,
I agree. I've always imagined it being.
Oh, I hit it twice, I think.
Oh, okay. We'll just count the first one if that's all right. So
yeah, that sounds fine.
It's a double fail.
Like it's a total of 4.
Awesome.
So my int is a 1, so that's a 5. Yep.
That's wait, you just rolled a single d6, so we should count those 2 d6s twice. So you rolled an 8 plus 1 makes it a 9.
Okay. I typed in number of d6s too. Is there something else I should have done?
No. Number of d6 2, and then roll the dice.
Yeah.
And that should have been what you did. Weird.
Okay. Weird.
On a 7 to 9 complication, you get what you want, but at some cost, reduced effect, difficult choice, or harm, the GM will tell you what. So, although this dome has been abandoned for quite a while, as you circle around, you see that the dome is far from uninhabited. Your scanners come back telling you that the main dome is intact, but the outer door, and we'll say that all you guys can kind of see this, is the outer door has been compromised, because you can see that the blast door has been knocked from its track and it's askew. So you can see that the jungle underneath you, because this is a jungle area, spills into the dome at that point. Operation Outpost 4, which is where you are, probably be a pretty good place to search operations. Here's the complication. So it appears that the network for the operations center for Outpost 4 is still active, but you're unable to get it to connect. There's no handshake. You can just tell that it's active, that whatever powered it has not been destroyed by this point. And so the network is still active, but it doesn't seem to be communicating back and forth with you guys. You see the wrecked freighter, which is sitting on the island just outside of the base. You do not see at this point, from your vantage point, as you're looking for a place to land, any movement in or around the Tengu's prize.
Is there any damage on the Tengu's prize visible, like blaster markings or anything like that?
Yes, you can see that the Tengu's prize actually kind of crash landed onto that island, and you can see the big furrows in the muddy island itself.
Cool, but not like that looks like a turbo laser blew out its whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between being shot and crashing, right? Like,
it is hard to tell from this vantage point.
Fair enough.
If you get closer, you could probably figure out if it's been.
Yeah, maybe
think-
there's like crashed trees on top of it and stuff, blocking some of our view.
Yeah, that's
And Jay's like, been there. Yep.
great.
So
I strapped the seatbelt on, as you say.
So yeah, I think that Jay wants to put down right next to the Tengu's prize, as close as possible. Like if he can find any kind of clearing or something like that. Yeah.
Cool. So if you can take a look at the pic, you can see that like right by the Tengu's prize means you could land on that island if you want, but you're not sure how. Like the freighter, as you come down, you see the freighter sunk into the river a bit. So you're not sure how stable this island would be as a landing platform for 2 ships.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try and do, come down, land close enough. We've talked about offloading cargo and we've talked about offloading fuel. So we need to be close enough we can get back and forth.
Okay.
And it being on this island is a complication. So I'm going to try and land, but I'm going to come in real soft, like come down with those new landing gear and kind of touch down and see if, if they start to sink, see if I can pick it back up.
All right, give me an agility roll and see how well you land this baby.
I hope this is not like Dagobah again.
Can I do anything with science and or advanced sensors to give him some sort of advantage on this?
Oh, that sounds awesome. Let's do that. So give me an intelligence roll.
Okay. 9.
A 9. Awesome. So with the 9, what we'll do is we'll just do it like a helping roll, because I don't think Offworlders has that, but I think it's a thing that I want in every game. So I'll add it to some rules later. But that'll give you a +1 forward, Jago. So you're rolling plus your agility plus the help. You got a plus of 3.
Okay. So I'm going to roll the dice.
Okay.
Okay, that worked. So that's an 11.
Okay.
I didn't add the 3 in.
Yeah, I'm noticing you don't input. That's fine. 10 or higher, success, you get what you want. Yes, so working with your Zist, the 2 of you find a spot and you very gently, those beautiful landing gear, they sink in a little bit, but eventually maybe there's some sediment or something that originally caused this island to form in the river is enough to hold. Who's the first as the gangway starts to look? Nice.
I think these guys are way more technical, and like Yerzitz is directing Jay through the whole thing, and I'm there with the landing door like kind of open as we land, like stepping out as we come in.
Awesome.
I poke the floor, I like press down on the floor to see whether we are going to sink or not.
It's muddy, like you're going to sink about that much. Like it's one of those where the mud kind of sucks at your feet a little bit.
I look down at my my fine Corellian leather boots and I go, and
yeah, there's that.
Blaster pistol in hand, I think, looking around. Seems all clear, the guys. Should I go check it out, or one of you want to join me?
No, I mean, None of us should really be wandering around a strange planet alone. So
Hey, we'll see what could happen.
we could all die. Horrible ways. Get stuck in a sarlacc for 1,000 years.
The odds of that are 1,000,000 to 1.
That's pretty. That's
As you
actually.
guys are talking, you hear the
Hmm.
jungle like it's alive. You hear some weird bird call, and then off in the
I think
distance.
you're going to be fine then. I think we should go with your plan. I'll see you later.
So yeah, Jay, I think Jay will kind of head down the gangplank, kind of, flipping a couple of switches and everything. And then, he hears that weird call out in the jungle. And I'm sorry, are you going to stay on the ship?
No, I'm gonna go. I figure
You're gonna go? I think once everybody's out, Jay reaches up and flips this switch and hits it like a little keypad, and the gangplank kind of jerks back up into place. We don't want any unwelcome visitors climbing on the ship. So
Yeah, what kind of idiot would leave his ship unattended with the door wide open on every planet he lands on? That would be so stupid. Yeah, I guess we head on to the ship, right? To the Tengu, and
You head up to sorry, go ahead.
may I
try
actually
and
make
say
a
hello.
statement?
Oh yeah, go.
So actually, Lack, if you don't mind, let's say you brought the cup that you stole,
Mm.
right? Just to show, if we run into the niece, what's going on.
I like it. I'm drinking it as we go. It's got a cocktail in it as we're walking through the thing with a little umbrella on it.
So as you guys all walk that short distance from the Beskar to the Tengu's prize, you're able to take a good close look, and you see that one of the engines has been hit by turbo lasers. There was a tree that kind of fallen down over it and obfuscated that. Now, other things that you pick up, you see the prints of boots, humanoids. Oh, by the way, I didn't actually say this, but in the NPCs and places are pictures, which are the data files of the 4 Yoshigawa Corporation freighter crew, right? Rika Somyon, Arvin Adelko, Jack Finster, and Suntbaran. You've got pictures of them. You have their data files from the employee stuff that can be released. So, sorry, I just want to make sure I made that clear.
Good thing we got their chain codes.
Yeah, that's right. You have their chain codes. The ship itself is in rough shape from the landing. Other than the engine being taken out, most of the outer hull appears to be intact. As you approach, you see that the cargo ramp is open in the back, but mostly submerged in the river. So if you want to check the interior of the ship, you're going to need to wade into the river or find another way to enter it.
Hold on a second. I go, 2IJ, why don't you go check this thing out for us? And I want to
Yes.
pilot him over like a drone and go check it out. Let me know, but look out for things. They're on a strange planet. You never know what happens.
Careful.
Yep.
So you pilot 21J, and the first thing that it says to you is,
Power off. No power. Dead. Emergency systems off.
That's not good. That's kind of just like a big box then hanging out there. I wanted to look down. Does he see do you see a whole lot of footprints leaving? Do we see like everybody left the ship, or I don't know if that's something that we could see.
It's gone. Hold empty except for Surpacks. 2 of 4 Surpack survival and rescue packs. Other 2 gone. Open crate for Rimex.
Are all the droids still in there?
No droids.
That's
No
not
damage to cargo hold. Securing straps release.
All right, why don't you grab one of those packs if you can on the way back? Is it light enough for you to carry?
Yes.
Okay, bring one of those things back and see if we can, let's make sure that we look at the right stuff.
Can you
Cool.
get it to? Can you get 21J to check to see if what their fuel content is?
Yeah, good call.
I was going to say, I think that we should check out the rest of the ship as well, like more than the cargo hold. But like it's clear on here, so I'd say like Lack will go on board and scope it out. You know, make sure that there's no one hiding somewhere in any survivors or dead bodies or anything like that in areas not accessible to 2IJ at the moment. But it doesn't
Yeah.
seem as though we've got the problem of someone stolen our thing.
Cool.
So how do we find them?
So one thing that you guys had the rebreathers. You already talked about having had rebreathers. You realize as you guys are moving around, breathing here is difficult. Like the air is not pure. There's not enough oxygen content for you to be able to move around very effectively. So you're really going to need those rebreathers. Otherwise, you're going to you'll start to roll with disadvantage with anything physical and eventually anything intelligence wise because you don't have enough to think. So I'm assuming you take care of the rebreathers. You tell me if that's otherwise.
Would that be one of our supplies, maybe?
Yeah.
Rich?
Yeah.
Just to stick to the rules.
Yes, thank you for reminding me of mechanics. So yes, please use one of your supplies. You started with 3, so you'll be down to 2 unless you took an option to get more. So you so you're going to need to wade into the river and kind of duck down to climb up into Tengu's prize. That's perfectly fine. One of the things, Yerzist, that you notice as you've been trying to keep an eye on things, you're also operating 2IJ, is you see a large creature on the shore of the river. It looks like, well, it's a carcodon. It is a very large reptile. By very large, I mean like 8 meters. Looks like a lot like a crocodile or alligator. And it slips into the water and then disappears.
Oh, that's not a good thing.
So, like you get nice and wet, which is not awesome, but because this is like jungle river water, so there's a lot of silt, and you're definitely going to need to get something done about the Cape, probably.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that Lack is, when we could have seen this going on, Lack doesn't appear very happy to be doing this job, like, yeah, blast a pistol out and like, hello.
Luckily,
tap.
the current is light, so you move in without any worries. You tap, you make a little bit of noise, see if anyone responds, and you're standing, and it's a kind of a heavy tilt, so you have to maneuver your way inside. One of the things that you realize as you're looking in here is that someone came here and pulled all of the Remexes out. They opened one of the crates, but the rest of the crates have been moved. There are no signs of struggle inside the ship, but it does look like things were moved in a hurry.
There's no signs of a struggle, but none of the dead crew here or anything like that. And
Correct.
you
don't see any dead crew. You don't see any members of the crew. You move around. It's obviously, the Tengu's Pride is a Yoshigawa ship. They've made it home, right? You can see that the Chiss has some like ice sculpture pictures in his little area. You could probably they travel light, but you could scrounge some stuff if that's.
I mean, I don't think I'd particularly try and scrounge. I'd have he's definitely, we see him, open a drawer, root through, check a pocket, look in a wallet, maybe slip like some creds, but not enough to count as a cred in Offworlders into his back pocket. But and then I'll come back to the rest of the guys standing on the edge of the, before I drop back down into the water, and I'll just call out like, looks like they all left in a hurry, but they went by themselves from the looks of things. But how could they possibly get all those droids out?
I think
So
they've
if you
got-
don't mind,
Oh.
while they're doing this, I think Jay's going to be checking out the other ship, and if he can, doing the equivalent of siphoning gas, from one to the other.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds awesome. That's a thing you do. I don't think it's a die roll. You can go and the fuel is fine. You just I can't even think of the thing, but you hook the thing and you're doing, what is the thing where you like,
It's the big hose looking thing that we see, and it's the big hose that we see like in the where they land, and whenever it's all connected up, we see that smoke, that mist kind of come out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, that's very Star Wars. I love that. Yeah. So Jay, you're taking that up. Go ahead and mark one more fuel. So you guys will be at 2 fuel as long as you keep that attached for a bit.
I would also like to, can I see if, I know there's no power to the ship, but can I log in and see if there's, using the power of my droid, see if I can pull any information off of the down systems?
Oh, that sounds cool. Yeah. I think that's a possibility. Let's have you make an intelligence check. Yeah, you're messing with technology. It's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. All right, that's a 10.
So you like pull a little tether thing that's actually attached to your droid and hook that in, and a little bit of power comes up. You get a 10. So 2IJ calls that, and you see a little screen light up, and you're looking specifically for what?
I want to look, the last entry is if, from the ship, to basically see if there's anything there, or if there's nothing, or if there's nothing there. I'm assuming if you've got 50 droids, they were either restrained or like, there's probably something that got released to let them out.
Yeah.
Well, we know that there was one cargo box was opened, and then the rest of them are all still in packaging, so they didn't walk out on their own power, I guess.
Yes, it appears that that's a great question. So there are 50. There were 10 crates that held a number of droids similar to like in the Clone Wars, they all be on a rail, and kind of be dropped in and activated. Looks like one of the packs was opened and the rest of the packs are just gone. So there's a crate that was left behind. You were checking to see if there were any logs.
Yeah. Either the, from ship's logs or,
Cool. You've noticed 2 things. The first thing is that the ship's logs of activity, which also has like its own separate battery, which is how you guys were able to get the signal that you picked up from before, that you can pick up that the ship was shot while it was in Atmo. And then they tried really hard to keep it from crashing and had to bail. This is all from telemetry and ship inputs and all that stuff. You also realize that there are the remnants of a few bits of comm traffic that were recorded that have been erased.
Okay, so somebody got on. One thing I would like to do is I would like to, from a telemetry standpoint, see where the ship was when it got shot.
Okay.
And then what I want to do is I want to figure out where on the ship it was shot, and potentially try basically figure out where they were shot from.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I just give me an intelligence, and that'll kind of determine how.
Yeah. Those were. Nope. Well, I get to re-roll one of them. So this would probably be a science roll.
Okay, yeah. So you're burning. Oh, it's awesome. We're using a skill. Okay, cool. So it's a science roll, and you're gonna re-roll.
Yep, I'm gonna re-roll
Sounds
the
good.
one. So I got a 6. So I got a so it was 6 plus 2 is 8 plus 2 is 10.
That's awesome. You are able to pick out that the attack happened in Atmo, that it happened from another ship, like a shipborne weapon, and that it precisely took out one of their engines, which would cause it to come down. But it was like one shot. It was like a sharpshooter knowing exactly how to take a ship down. It was very precise.
It's also it's a lot more informative that it was a ship-bound weapon, not necessarily a land-based installation.
Yes.
So that also would explain why they could. Yeah. Okay, I guess that also explains. I think they were shot down by another ship instead of something from the ground, and I think from the ship they probably loaded their stuff into the other cargo hold. So so we're probably looking for a ship rather than a base or something. But a lot of people are probably wandering around on the ground somewhere.
But why were they in Atmo in the first place? No one was supposed to be on this planet.
I don't know, man. I think I did pretty good with the information so far.
No, I'm not. You take it so personally. Yes, like, this is all about the seaweed thing, isn't it? I'm sorry. Again, I'm sorry.
So I think Jay's gonna, he hears that, and you see him, he's messing around with these hoses outside, and he hears there's another ship, and he kind of, looks up into the sky, and kind of panics and kind of runs over to the ship, punches the key code, the janky little landing ramp comes down, and he runs up, and he's going to set the advanced electronics, the high-end scanners that we have, to constant monitoring, and then transfer the data to J1. To IJ, excuse me.
Okay.
And that way, we're looking for a ping. We're looking for that ship to come back, because if they took one ship out, they'll take another ship out. We don't even own this one yet.
It's like 3PO and R2 on the other end telling us what the sensors are saying as we're running around down here. I love it.
That is really cool. That's cool. Yeah, so you hook up those and pipe them through to IJ. At this point, Lack, you're still on the ship. You're also on the Tengu's prize. Jay, once you do all that hookup, where are you going?
So I think once I do the hookup, I've got the fuel's transferring. It's going to take a little while. I'm off. I fixed up our ship. I'm coming back off, closing the ship up. But I punch in a code so that it's before it's like a lock code. This is a proximity code. So if any of us come up, it'll open the landing gear right away, so we can do a quick getaway, because we don't want to be caught here on the ground with an enemy ship. And then I'm going to head back to the other ship. And everyone else is on the ship. I think I'm going to wade through the water and jump on to see if I can't find anything as well.
Awesome. So you set the proximity, you head down to kind of enter the ship by dropping into the water. As you do, you see something in the river moving quickly towards you, Jay. And then you see a large gator type mouth opening up, and it is coming to bite you. What do you do?
Yeah, so I think, typical, I scream out loud and I start, scrambling back up off the bank. And if it's, if I have enough time, I'm going to pull out my blaster pistol and shoot it.
Oh, I think you should try that.
Yeah. So what would that be?
Cool. So rolling dice. On this one, you describe what you want to do and how you do it. You're going to be shooting it. I think that that would be... So strength is raw power, speed and aggression, climbing, sprinting, breaking things, fighting, and melee. I don't think that's what you're doing. You're shooting it. Yeah. Reaction time, agility, reaction time, control, coordination, balancing on narrow beams, flying spaceships, and shooting rifles. So you're shooting a rifle. There you go.
Okay.
You have Deadeye, so you get to do +2 damage with ranged weapons, and you're using your NN14 blaster pistol. So go ahead and roll plus agility.
Yeah.
2d6 + 2.
That's a 7.
Nice. That is a
Oh,
7.
9.
It's
That's a
actually a
9.
9. Okay. It's still 7 to 9. So what that means in combat on a 7 to 9, so you get what you want at some cost. So it's going to take a bite and you get to shoot it. So it's coming forward. So even though you shoot it, it still kind of snatches hold of something. Let's go ahead and your weapon. I don't know why that word sounds.
I think it's a 1d6.
I'm almost positive it's a 1d6 because a rifle's a 1d6 plus 2.
It is a 1d6. Yeah.
Cool. So go ahead and roll that d6, and then you get to add 2 on top of that because of your dead eye.
So I rolled a 6 plus 2 is 8.
Awesome. It attacks you with its death throws. So you get to roll 1 more d6. Don't forget your armor.
Yeah. That's a 4.
Okay.
You have
So
an option
then do
because
what?
of your other skill or your other ability.
Once per battle, reroll a damage die. Ooh, yeah.
But you could be the opponents as well. So the damage.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. The only problem is that if I roll higher, I have to take it.
Yep.
Yes.
Right. So I think I'm probably okay with the 4.
Okay.
Armor would take 1 off of that and make it a 3.
So you're
So
down to
I'd be
10
at
hit
10?
points. Yep,
Yeah.
you'll be at 10 hit points. Awesome. So I think what happens is the thing, it like grabs onto your ankle, but you fire at it, you fire again, and you kill it. It stops moving. It kind of rolls over a little bit, releasing your foot, which now has been savaged a bit. You can, there are 2 ways to heal. That's in the some rules, which is burn a supply and you're using up some Bacta spray or something like that. Or if you rest, which is the equivalent of a good night's sleep, then you can recover half of your maximum health. So yeah, Lack and your Zist, you guys are in the ship. You're doing your investigations, talking between each other when all of a sudden Jay screams out in pain. You hear a blaster fire. Your Zist, what do you do?
I run back out there, see what's going on, and go, "Oh my God, you should have shot him before he bit you."
Lack, you.
I think I say something the equivalent of, Kark, you can figure this stuff out. And I'm still kicking the thing, kind of scrambling up on the bank, maybe trying to wrap up my ankle.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Hero of the rebellion, like I said.
It's a big monster. This thing was like 8.5 meters.
No,
long.
I meant that seriously.
Yeah.
Can't help it that he always sounds sarcastic.
Not your fault. You're born that way.
I wonder if hopefully, well,
You're bleeding all over the ship. Or are you good for now?
I'm good for now. I'm not going back in that water. Good luck for you guys. I'll keep an eye out here to make sure no more of those, mouth tooth things comes after us.
Well, that was a short and effective mission then.
no, we must find out. Maybe what has happened to the crew?
Maybe they got eaten by these big things.
Are you not good at survival? What does survival do? Is it like D&D where you can track things? Yes, finding food, direction, shelter, etc. in a hostile environment. Jay, were you not a scout for the rebellion on one of those tours? You were telling me about how you found those. You found what's his name? You found that Skywalker fellow as he was fighting a Wampa or something on Hoth, right? And you saved him.
I made that up, but yeah, I've got a little bit of training. I'll see what I can do. Yeah, so look for tracks and stuff.
Yeah, that sounds good. Cool. Give me a. Yeah, I think it'll be a perception-based thing. So give me an intelligence roll, and then you've got your survival skill as a backup.
Okay. See if that rolls right. Yes. So I got an 8. I'm good with a mixed success. Yeah.
Okay. So you pick out that these footsteps, whoever they went into the water and continued on, and you're gonna have to go through the water to continue following the tracks, but you know which direction they took off of this island. This tiny sandbar.
I tell yours, it's, they went that away. You'll have to swim to figure it out. And I step back off the bank out of the water, right?
Listen, I like running around in the water as much as.
Bullshit. Just because I came from a water planet doesn't mean I'm necessarily good at swimming. I don't understand. I don't look at you and just say, oh my God, if somebody here has got a dog with a whole lot of things, you're the person that's going to be able to clean it because you got those things going on. It's one of those where, everybody's okay, fine. I'm good at swimming.
Well, no, it's not that. I'm just not going to be in there with the crocodiles.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Listen, perhaps now is the time to break out the speeder, yes?
Good point. It's a crocodile-proof speeder. Just go in there, and then you can put your foot up, and then it'll be fine, and we could all cruise around. And if something happens, but I think you'd be good. Just put your foot up. The sea air. It'd be good. It'd be good for the healing.
All right, so you guys want to head back to your ship and bring out the speeder? Is that right?
Yeah, just to avoid having to wade through. If there's enough room to.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
Maybe, obviously it's not going to be faster. It'd be very hazardous to go fast and perhaps require some daring, piloting checks.
Oh yeah, of course it will require such things.
Obviously, now we're sort of doing it like the Vietnam kind of slow, walk, almost at a walking pace, following the trails that we can get to wherever.
Sounds good. So you guys head on your speeder, and you make your way to following the tracks, and you see that they lead directly to those domes. Hold on just a second. If you're looking at the look of the Outpost 4, there's that main dome, and then there's the smaller dome that's directly above it, and then those two of the smallest. There's one that's really close to where it says target location. Following the trail, it heads almost directly to that rightmost of the 4, the one that's closest. And you're headed to what from the exterior of the dome is opaque. It's not clear. You can't directly see inside, but your droid helpfully provides you 2 IJ says,
this dome, hangar dome.
All right, this dome's a hangar dome, guys. So let's take, you want to take again and see what's inside?
Yes, of course. Let's head in. Is there a space, given that it's a hangar dome, is there an external entrance that we could bring the speeder inside of it?
Yes, it is large enough to where if you can get those doors open, you could easily drive the speeder in. They are currently closed.
Listen, slicing is not really my thing.
It's all right. I can do that. Most of these doors are set to be activated from a remote operation. As things come in, they operate them and they get them. So I would like to use my hijack ability, which is to remotely take over any electronic machine or computer that you can see. So
awesome. I probably should rename that slicing, but we'll keep it as it is. That sounds amazing. And if you want to give me a intelligence roll with a hit, you will be able to hack that machine. With them 7 to 9, there'll be a complication of some kind.
Oh no, I didn't do a very good job of this one. Oh, wait a second. I rolled wrong there. I rolled a 2, so I'm going to actually re-roll that because of my tech skill, and actually roll it correctly this time.
Okay,
I got an 8.
Okay, an 8 means a complication. So You try slicing in, remotely taking over the device that was holding the doors closed. You realize, though, what you're doing is brute force attack. If anyone has any connection to this network, they're going to be aware of what you're doing, right? You're not able to mask it.
I figure I'm opening and closing the doors really loud. Don't worry, it doesn't open right the first time, but if I jimmy it a few times, eventually it opens.
Yeah, it's this is not the most subtle of things that you're doing. So I've just unhidden, and I'll move it up a little bit. If you're looking at the Gone Job tab, you'll see the hangar legend. You guys are entering from the blast doors, the outer blast launch door, which is 15. Things that you see in this hangar. The hangar entries are blast shielded. It does lead off to, there is one set of blast doors that lead from the main dome, and then where you are. You hack the planet, the panel remotely, and you guys enter. The hangar is quite large. It's large enough to house a few freighters, and could also house some ships. It appears that some stuff was left behind. However, whatever's left behind was left behind because it was either trash or inoperable. So you see that there are cargo crates and parts lockers clustered near the rear entrance of the area. You can see some CNC, command and control stations seen throughout. The largest one is near the door leading back to the main dome. In here is a medium class freighter that is an obvious state of disrepair. Kind of imagine the episode of Force Awakens where you see that one ship, the quad jumper that they were going to get in before it blew up. It's obvious that some of the covering plates are gone, and this thing is not space worthy. There's a portion of one engine that appears to have been pulled from its housing, and there's scaffolding surrounding it to hold a bunch of parts in place.
Is that new or old?
You notice that there are drag marks from the medium ship, that medium class ship, to a light freighter that is closer to you guys. So number 6. So actually not closer. It's like right in the middle there. You also see, as per the legend, a bunch of Rimex crates are set up.
So those are our Rimex crates.
Those are your Rimex crates. Let's see. And you see there's some speeders in here, but they all look like they're pretty well torn up. And there are a number of forklifts, and there's a bulk load walker. As the three of you move in, you've opened the doors, which means that there's no one surprised by you walking in. There's no one visible at the moment that you guys walk in and take in this very large area. So I'll ask Jay. You're limping just a little bit, right? What do you do when you see all that seems to be going on here?
So we haven't seen anyone yet.
You have not seen anyone. No.
We've just seen activity from people. I'm going to call out by name. Let's see. Rika, Arvin, Jack, Sunt. We were sent. We're just checking in. We're here to help.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is a great opening salvo. That is a really good idea. Let's have you make a willpower roll. So force of personality, charisma, and determination.
Okay. So I'm going to roll 2d6 plus 0.
Yep.
I got
an
11.
That is great.
Nice.
Sweet. So you say that, And as soon as you do, you see a person who matches that file for Arvin Adelko. She sticks her head up. She was hiding behind the crates from the point. She had a blaster, and she looks rough. Like, see how dirty the picture looks. She looks like she's been through some poodoo. She looks up and she says, "Oh, thanks stars. You guys are a rescue op?"
Yes, sir.
You have to sir me. I work for a living. Listen, we were trying to. Our ship's trashed. We were trying to get this light freighter fixed up. You guys should come in and close those blast doors. There's a lot of nasty creatures out there.
We've got
Yes.
a ship. We've got a ship placed down next to yours. Who shot you?
Awesome. And so you ask who shot her, and she hesitates for a moment, like she needs to think about that answer. You're the techie. You see a droid that was set up and watching you guys. It's a labor droid, except what you catch is that it had on his shoulder pod, like a pair of missile pods on his shoulders. And those things kind of, the doors open up on the shoulders, and those missile pods slide down in, and the droid walks forward out of the little shadows that it was hiding in, and looks just like a regular, kind of like an AST service droid.
Whoa, how many of these have missiles on it?
She's the elbow.
What?
How
No.
many?
Those aren't missiles. Those are charges used for mining.
You tell my sphincter that. I just saw that thing. Those are missiles. Are they
Listen.
industrial missiles?
We signed the NDA. This is
Yeah,
probably
but
why.
that's just for other people. This is, these people are part of it.
Listen,
The people we don't tell other people about.
listen. 1330. For when we get to Coruscant, I must tell you, do not ask questions you do not want to know answer to.
But this I do want to know the answer to. I mean,
Ah,
he knows things.
Arvo holsters her weapon. She goes, "Listen, hey, we're all on the same team, right? We're on the same team. Sure, those could be used as missiles. You've signed an NDA. They're mining charges that can be remotely delivered, okay?"
Fine. But why are you waiting in here when you have 50 remotely, charged mining charge droids that you could march out there and blow out all the green things? What are you afraid of? Because we're still like out here
So
mostly.
you got a ship, right? Maybe we should just load these crates up and go. Can you guys
Yes,
reach out to
let's-
Rika?
I thought she would with you.
Did you see her outside? She said she went to Main Dome, but I haven't heard back from her.
Sitzt. If we, Mr. Sakarmori is a reasonable man. I think we can use our new information as leverage, for a better deal, perhaps.
And I'm not concerned about the deal. I'm concerned about the fact that you got these. I don't know about you, but if you had 50 robots that all had missile launchers on it, I wouldn't be afraid of nothing.
Yes, but I also wouldn't commit ecocide on strange planet I have landed on. These are just animals. You stay inside, they don't bother you.
That's why I think that they're afraid of something else.
Yes, and the quicker we leave, the quicker we can be away from them.
Okay.
I'm with your Arcanian friend. Let's get these Rimexes loaded up on your ship.
We need to find Ricard first, I'm afraid. Part of the deal. Our deal is we find Ricard.
Tank Ferric. Yeah, sure. I mean, of course.
What about the?
What does Jay say?
What about the rest of the crew?
They didn't make it. We were attacked. We drove them off with some of the droids. Let's just get out of here before they come back.
With the miners, we got it. But drove who off?
I don't know, some like scavengers or something.
Now you're lying to me too.
She's a really bad liar.
And I try and manipulate her to get her on board and say
do
that,
it,
like,
do it,
everything,
do it.
you know, we signed the contract, you know, my friend's asking
Yeah,
questions.
no, it's perfect.
You're supposed to tell us everything.
Let's see if you can manipulate her. You've got a skill in that. So give me a will. Oh, your will is terrible. By the way, if you want to flip those stats now that you realize that will's for charisma, then you can, but it looks like you really wanted high agility, so
I will do so. I have a 1 in a 0 in it at least, you know, because I think because I'm skilled in manipulation, do I not get a extra dice in it?
No, the way skills work is it gives you a reroll on one of the dice.
Oh, a reroll, I see. That
Yep.
was it. That's what I meant, yeah. So 2d6 flat. Oof. I get
You
to
can
reroll
reroll
one of
that
those,
too.
so I'll reroll the 2.
There you go. 3 and a 6.
9.
9. Awesome. She says, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Right. She moves around the crate and she walks over to you guys. She goes, listen. Okay, Rika had this side thing. We've been delivering these Remexes for a couple of jobs now. A few of them get lost in transport. We make a little money extra on the side. It seemed like a no problem thing. Nobody got hurt. Evidently, somebody else found out about it. And when we came here, we got shot down. And have you guys ever heard of the Guavian death gangs?
No, but that doesn't sound good.
Yeah. So those are the guys that shot us down. And we pulled a few of the droids out of the crate. We defended ourselves here. And then Rika went off because she got some life signs from the main dome. Said she'd be right back. I think we should load these things on your ship and we could get back. The thing is, if we could have got this fixed, we could deliver the Remex and nobody would even know. But now, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like this is going to work out, if you know what I mean. So maybe we just load that up. You guys find Rika. I'll hang tight on the ship, on your ship. I'll hang tight there, and then we'll finish your job and we'll finish our delivery. Win-win. Win-win. Right? Like you said.
So this Guavian, Death Gang. First of all, anybody that has the name Death Gang in it, got some branding issues. But what is what shot you down? Was it just like a single ship? Was there 7 ships?
No, it's just a single ship, and then it went away, and then they came in on us just like a few hours ago, and we killed a bunch of them.
Was I don't see their bodies around here. Were there enough of them that you killed a bunch of them, but there were still enough of them to drag all those bodies back and still get out of here?
Yeah.
Because that's a lot. That's a lot of guys then.
Well, there's less of the guys.
Yeah, but the fact that for everyone that got at least 2 people, so you didn't kill like a vast majority of them. There's still a lot of people out there, and this is not good, guys.
I mean, your math's not wrong, but listen, you've got a ship. We've got the crates. Let's get the.
Why did Rika go check out some strange life signs on a planet?
I don't know. I thought she was pulling a fast one on me. I just wanted to get this freighter up and running and get the hell off this place.
You know that your cruise buddies went there either, and there were no signs of fighting at the ship or anywhere else that we saw.
That's weird.
Yes, it is weird, isn't it? Well, stick around. We'll come back for you soon.
Should I keep working on this ship then? You guys, hey, I can get these
Get
droids.
it-
We can load up the
get the
rest of the
droids.
Remexes on your ship.
Get the droids ready to go. We'll be back.
It would make so much more sense if I just carry all those crates and put them on.
Yes,
The
well,
ship
there's
that
a
we're
lot
gonna
about
leave
this
on.
that doesn't make any sense, huh?
Actually, it is possible that they could carry all the crates and put them next to our ship, and then we'll come unlock it, and it'll be a quick load.
I don't want
No.
her to. I don't want her to have access to our ship,
Oh,
particularly.
our ship's locked down. She
No,
could put it next to our ship. You
But
don't
I'm-
want
yeah.
her to even know where it is?
Yeah, we should
Yeah,
put
that was my.
back here
Okay.
and let them load it right in. So
Yeah, if you guys want to do that and trust the ship's security, I'm just too suspicious to.
no, I mean,
You
like
know.
after this, we'll tell her we'll bring the ship back and then we'll just load it real quick.
Oh, we'll bring the ship over to here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll fly the ship over to here and hard load it. Yeah.
Yeah, right by the hangar. I'm sure there's plenty of space for us to do it. And then we only have to move the robot crates to get like a few feet as opposed to dragging them through the swamp and, have
That's
it
a good point.
take a bite out of our ass.
But what are we doing immediately? We're going to go look for Rika, or are we going to go and get the ship and do that?
Oh, I think we should come get the ship once we get Rika.
Yeah,
And
cool.
this area is more defensible, so she can set up the droids to take care of things here.
Yeah.
And clear out some space for our ship. So yeah.
Use the tow tractor to move the other ships out of the way so that we can. Yeah, lovely.
And I'm shameless. The lift is totally stolen from aliens. Like it's a thing where you go in and so she's gonna rush over. Arvin heads over, she'll get in the lift, she's gonna start moving some stuff around. If you guys are gonna bring the Beskar in here.
Only after we find Rika.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So as we bring this session to a close, you three are gonna head out to find Rika. Arvin is clearing the way for you to be able to bring the Beskar in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So that is what you guys are doing. We see you headed towards the main blast doors that go to the main dome, and then we pull back and we see the dome itself. And from the viewpoint, there's this small skiff, and there are a pack of 4 Guavian Death Gang members. And hopefully you guys have seen the sequels, the red armor with the the freaking concentric circle thing on their faces.
Okay.
And they are loaded for bear and headed towards you guys. So that will be the end of our session. We have some rules. So the end of session questions. Did you earn a profit? I'm going to say yes, because Lack skimmed a bunch of stuff off of the ship, off the Tengu's prize, and that'll give you some kind of profit, more than the supplies you burned up. Did you discover something new and interesting about the universe?
Yeah, this whole planet and its history and these biodomes and this frontier and the secret arms ship, smuggling in droids, right? They're just mining droids. That's something new about the universe.
And then, did you overcome a difficult challenge or a dangerous adversary? I'm going to say that the Crocodoan that Jay blew its brains out will count. So 3 XP for each of you. And we're at time, so if anyone needs to go, feel free to go, no problems. But if anyone has time to stay, I would love to do a quick bit of stars and wishes.
I got 10 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, hopefully it's not going to take more than 10 minutes. If so, that's a lot of wishes. So let's start with wishes so we can end with stars. We'll go from the left to the right. So Philip, you get to go first with wishes. Any points of confusion with the system or things that you're like, please, I definitely wish we get to do X in session 2 of 2?
Honestly, the system I think is pretty straightforward so far. I think as a group we've been remembering it. I think we're figuring out things as we go. I'd be interested in seeing some combat. I think that's always fun and severely deadly in systems like this. But
Not kidding.
yeah, I think that would probably be my next wish to but with red bullseye faced guys in ablative armor and energy weapons heading our way, we're probably going to get that.
I got you. Fantastic. Awesome. So Stephen, what about you? Wishes?
I can't think of anything right now. So let's skip me for now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And if later, like between sessions or whatever, you think of some things you want to throw that way, feel free. And then Will, what about you?
I think the rules and everything, it's for wishes is maybe to get, because it feels like a dungeon. It is a dungeon, it's World of Dungeons, right? So it feels like, and I like the combat particularly is a thing, like it's getting into that headspace because it's that system rather than cartel or bounty of the week or whatever, right? So I think I'm interested in doing some of the stuff that plays more to that strength as well, like the fighting, and we're about to do a mini dungeon crawl, it seems to me, for a ruined biodome, which I'm very much looking forward to. In the spirit of that, I'm hoping that there's kind of like things that we can use to our advantage, like leftover E11 or E10, right? Like the blaster web thing, or under the loader, or like loot, effectively, I suppose, but like useful mechanical loot, like a heavy blaster for one of us, or a shield generator, or something, to find. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Good, awesome. You went last with wishes, so get to give out a couple stars if you have any. Will?
I love Philip. I love yours. It's attitude, like this this sort of like know it all, but also kind of like naive in so many ways as well, and scared of all of the stuff that we're getting involved in over his head among all of us. I think
he's a great Star Wars character. He feels
Yeah.
very Star Warsy. I love that.
And Stephen, Jay, I love the whole kind of like he's a Republic soldier and stuff, but he's a normal guy rather than like a swashbuckling hero or whatever, right? And yeah, I like the crew that we've, I feel like we're kind of like the misfits of the Star Wars universe. We're definitely like the B story that's going on in the background of another movie. So yeah, I love it. It's great. And Rich, I like having, I don't know if your NPCs and places has like stuff from previous games like left in it, or if they're characters that might be part of this at some point, but looking over it and thinking back on the Bounty of the Week, but I'm like, droids with secret features being moved around in the Outer Rim by corporations. Yeah, I like feeling like the world sort of all ties in together with all of it. I love that stuff.
Good. I'm glad, because that's like a main draw for me for the Star Wars Saturdays too. Yes, there are some recurring NPCs that are thrown in there that may or may not show up. So glad that you dig that. Steven, what about you? Any stars you want to throw out?
So I actually thought of a wish.
Okay.
I enjoyed the character creation that we did, and some of the I would like to see some of the background information come forward. So like people who have a bounty, or seeing Coruscant and the down dirty, running into somebody from there, just something that brings in some of the background history and ties all that back together, I think would be good. I'd like to see that. As far as roses or stars, so that's a big one for me. Is I liked how we developed the whole story and all that came together. It felt like it made us more of a crew, and I really enjoyed the character creation that we had, not just with that, but with the NPCs and the ship. It made it really come more alive, and I really enjoyed that.
Awesome. Thanks, Steven. Philip, what about you? Any stars you want to throw out?
I very much like how these characters are starting to come together. I like the conversation earlier where Stephen was talking about Jay, like, well, that's not really how that happened. And I could just imagine us flying around with Jay explaining, like, so I told the Ewoks to get some big pieces of lumber. And, so like everything in the entire Galactic War was his idea. And then we find out later on as things go by, I was like, no, that was Lando Calrissian, or that was this, or that was this. And he's like, well, I mean, maybe it wasn't me. Maybe it wasn't exactly how I said it. But as soon as you open that can of worms, I'm like, that's something that you tug on, you know. I like the world that we're creating, and I think it's fun, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
I want to throw in a special star for Steven. Hey, I like the idea of us having a fourth crew member, and all the story that just like snowballed out of that, and how everybody had a piece to it. That was really, really fun. I thought that was brilliant. Such a great suggestion.
The only thing I'd be a little bit concerned about, and I thought about doing this during my wish, and it's kind of what stumbled me a little bit, was do I want to see him come back? And it's like, no, the story isn't about him, right? The story's about us, and he's one of the things that ties us together. But I didn't want to make that my wish,
Yeah,
it'd be
no,
neat
that
if
makes
he came
sense.
back, but yeah.
In a 2-session, I don't see it either. But like, if this were I'm running it for 4 sessions kind of thing, yeah, sure, him showing back up, or you guys actually freeing the guy kind of thing could totally be a deal.
I mean, the end of the episode is we've saved up enough credits to pay off whatever money it's going to cost to get him out on bail bond.
I was thinking more along the lines of, the Guavian death gang. He's the guy in charge, right? Or something like that. He's the buyer for
oh my
this
gosh.
robot delivery or something like that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
He had to fake his own death to get out of underneath the entire the ridiculous mortgage payments that we have to make on this. His accountant told him, "Listen, you're gonna have to be frozen in carbonite or captured by a bounty hunter. Otherwise, you're paying like 14% interest on this crap ship, and it doesn't make financial sense."
Funny.
Anyway.
I also want to throw out a special star to anybody from The Mandalorian that decided to make Quarren's New Englanders, because I cannot do them now with some weird New England accent. So that one scene with them as being fishermen on that world, I'm like, they've completely ruined Quarren's for me entirely.
I mean, ruined them or made them incredibly flavorful and easy to play. I mean, I think it's the opposite. I think it's great. That's awesome. I really enjoyed this session with you all. I hope you had a good time too. I look forward to bringing it to a close, although I am secretly a little sad that it's only 2 sessions at this point. I love the characters you've created, and the world they exist in is really, really cool. So I'll bring the recording to a close.